Rishika, as you mentioned, Sunak is back in the news, and yes, people do think he's a likely front-runner, but Truss's time in the PM office lasted 45 chaotic days and no more. But who are the likely front-runners to replace Liz Truss? Let's take a look at the potential candidates. We've got Rishi Sunak as the first emerger, former Chancellor, beaten by Liz Truss earlier. Sunak served as the Chancellor of the Exchequer under Boris Johnson and was seen for a time as his most likely successor. But he finished second in the party leadership contest to Truss, hampered by his association with COVID-era spending, tax increases and Britain's cost of living crisis, as well as his part in pushing out Boris Johnson. He is an Oxford and Stanford-educated son of Indian immigrants. He's been held up as an example of multi-ethnic and more modern Britain. But two scandals this year tarnished his reputation. His wealthy wife, Akshata Murthy, was found to have claimed a tax status that allowed her to avoid paying taxes on some of her income. Then it was revealed that Sunak continued to hold a green card, allowing him to live and work in the United States for months after he became Chancellor. Number two, we've got Penny Mordaunt, the leader of the House of Commons. She became leader of the lower house of Britain's Parliament after briefly emerging as a contender in the summer's Conservative Party leadership contest, won by Liz Truss, as you know. At the time, Mordaunt's swift rise alarmed some critics who said that she was untested and thinly qualified for the post of Prime Minister. She also has little economic experience, just as Britain is striving to maintain economic credibility. Number three, Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister. Supporters of Johnson quickly called on him to run in the contest to win his old job back just a few months after he was forced to resign over a series of ethics scandals. But not only is he a divisive figure among voters, he's also being investigated by a powerful parliamentary committee over whether he misled lawmakers about lockdown-breaking parties in Downing Street. And it is far from certain that this return to power would be welcomed by financial markets that have stabilized very recently. Number four, Ben Wallace, the Defense Secretary. He said he was supporting Truss in the party contest, in part because she had promised to increase military spending. He has been a steadfast supporter of Ukraine amid Russia's invasion. But Ben Wallace, who opposed Brexit, has also previously served as the Minister for Security and Economic Crime, as well as the Northern Ireland Minister and the Assistant Whip. And lastly, Suella Braverman, who just quit as Home Secretary. She's seen as a bit of a dark horse candidate. She is a hardliner who is hostile to moves to allow more immigrants into Britain and previously served as the Attorney General as well. She was fired by Truss as Home Secretary after acknowledging that she was guilty of a technical breach of email security rules. But in her resignation letter, she said she had concerns about the direction of this government, referring to Truss's government, accusing it of breaking pledges to voters and in particular of falling to curb immigration. So these are the five contenders, the likely contenders so far in the Prime Minister's race in the United Kingdom.